All right, let me check and see if everybody can hear me. Let me see. Check and see. Let's see. Can you hear me? Testing, testing, testing. Oh, I still can't hear. I don't know why. Okay, hold on 1 second. I know why this one. I'm gonna get it right after a while. Let me check my setting. Ensure the Bluetooth is off. All right, let's try this again. Can you hear me? I still can't hear. I don't know why. Okay, hold on. What? I just test. All right, let's start again. I don't have my setup today, and I'm getting ready to set up and talk about health and food and things like that. But my heart is into seeing people healthy. And what I'm noticing that people are not really thinking about their health, um, especially church people, when they believe in faith and believe God can heal and believe God can set free. And I know that's good to have faith like that. But I believe we're supposed to partner with God in our healing, in our process, because we wouldn't be sick in the first place if we were eating right. Um, I think what's happening now is uh, we're not paying attention to our body, and we listen to what the doctor says, and we're taking our prescription, and we're supposed to listen to the doctors. But I'm 62 years old, and I think we're not thinking about the future, but we're thinking about now. Sometimes our body can really resist the pain or resist the rheumatoid arthritis. Our body can resist sometimes high blood pressure, things like that. Um, but we later on in the future, we get in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, all that you did your young life is going to show up then. And I don't think we realize that. I think when we're feeling well, we think everything's okay. And I've been talking to a few people, and some of them say, "Well, I'll change my diet when something's happened to me. Or God, the doctors give me a diagnosis. That's when I'm going to change my lifestyle." But to me, that's the wrong answer. Especially when you save, you trust in God, and I really believe that we are supposed to partner with God with our health. We don't just eat any and everything and then expect God to heal us, and He can. I know people that got instantly healed, but then they left and didn't change anything, didn't do anything to help themselves, and they end up back sick again, and then end up back in the prayer line again. There's a lot of obese. I'm kind of talking to the church people right now because a lot of obese in the church. And when you try to do ministry, it's really hard because we out of breath. We don't, um, you don't hear a lot of testimonies, but you hear a lot of people being sick with high blood pressure and things like that. I think it's like 10 years ago, um, I was dealing with high blood pressure really bad. And I saw the movie documentary called What the Health. And when I saw what we were eating and what we put in our bodies, it caused me to change my view of the way I eat. Because the Bible says we suffer for lack of knowledge, and just because you don't know about it, things will still happen to you. So I kind of have a ministry or I really want to help people. It's like a burden for people that I'm carrying of health and people to change their diet and eat right. And uh, most of the time we talk about eating right. People are even to help, salads and you got to have your meat. We talk to so many people and said that I can't change my diet and I got to have my meat. Well, when you're 20s and 30 years old, you think you have, babies are being born with cancer now. and all because the mother wasn't eating right when they were pregnant, and it through the breast milk it got into the baby. Um, and then I heard this doctor talk about she went on a plant-based diet while she was pregnant, and all her kids are geniuses, because the food, the shots, and all the stuff, it alters your health. And I think it's a demonic force. We talk about the principalities in high places. I think food is one of them. We are sick. We can't think straight. Our mind is just total not clear. We have mental health and things just going bad. But a lot of the mental health too is about not eating right too. And I just want to go on because I'm getting ready to start some broadcasts and talk about eating right and foods and that you don't have to have meat. The way like right this morning, my first thing I eat in the morning is I make a pound of greens with half a cup of chia seeds and some pineapples, and sometimes I put a banana in there. And I do this every single morning because I'm nourishing my body to make sure it's getting everything that it needs. And then I pretty much drink that all day. And then dinner time, I do eat a salad, but a lot of times we just don't eat salad. When we talk about plant-based and eating right, it's not about eating salads. It's about making a food, taking your recipes and turn it into the food that you normally eat. Like I do have macaroni and cheese and things like that, but I make my own cheese from scratch. I do have pizza. I don't use regular flour. I use spelt flour. So what I'm doing is taking my food I normally eat and kind of just exchanging it for something else. I make my own meat from scratch, and we use tofu and things we use. And we're gonna eventually have a get together here where we'll have people sample the type foods we eat. But I just have a burden on people that not feeling their best and not looking their best and not functioning the way they ought to function, all because of what we put in our mouth. And they talk about, when they talk about health, how we take care of our cars. You wouldn't put sugar in your tank. You wouldn't put, people complain about, I'm putting bad gas, or I go to the gas station, I'll put the most expensive gas in my car to make my car run better. But when it comes to organic foods and healthy foods, our main excuse we have is we can't afford it. But if you think about your grocery shopping, meat is high. You talk about meat, it's very high. um, it pretty much balances out in what you eat. We don't eat dairy. We don't. It's a lot of things, and we have a community of people because most of my kids are plant based, and then we have a community of people that help us when we feel tempted. I feel like we want to, eat a hamburger or something. Well, I never get tempted to eat meat, but just say that you're just tempted to eat something bad. Well, you have a community that'll help you to help you to eat right, and making sure you stay current on your promises, or your uh, Bella is my dog. Will you be quiet? On your vows or whatever you made about eating right, because you won't be doing it by yourself. But the thing about it, I've been talking to people that's in wheelchairs, and I've been talking to people that's obese and different people like that. And the first thing they tell me, I'm okay. I can't stop eating my food. Um, everybody going to die sometime. And the first thing I tell them, you may die. Yeah, you probably, all of us probably will die. But at least I want to die healthy. I want to die in my right mind. I want to die um, not having dementia or Alzheimer's. I want to, if I die, I want to die a natural death, not because I'm eating bad. And that's, to me, that's the hardest thing to talk about. We talk about salvation and the scriptures and what not to do, what to do. I think in eating right is the most hardest thing. You can probably get people saved, but get people to change their diet, that's a hard thing. And I ask God to help me to really tell the people the truth. It's not that I don't like chicken. It's not that I don't like eggs. It's just that it's being disciplined and knowing what it's doing to your body. people say, well, you don't like meat, and then people talk about where you're making your own meat, so you're making it taste like chicken. It's not that we don't like chicken. We don't like what the food do to our body, so we refuse to eat it. Is it hard? Yes, it is. But when you have a community, you have accountability, and you don't have to worry about people falling, because like when me and my husband, well, I did it first. It was work uh, getting my husband together. I think what I did is we watched What the Health, and then I watched this video of this lady. I think they were in their 70s, husband and wife in their 70s, and she was eating right from a garden, eating good food, and her husband refused to change his diet. He said he wanted his meat and all this stuff like that. Well, when they got like 70, 75, he was on an oxygen tank. He had oxygen, carrying an oxygen tank, and had oxygen on him, breathing through an oxygen tank. And she was about 40 years old, but she was pushing him in a wheelchair. And when they had him to talk, he was like, I wish I would have listened, because in your younger days, you think you're okay. You feel fine. You don't know that in your bloodstream or in your DNA, if it's cancer, because you got to go by generational curses, or either going by the DNA of your mother, your father, or your relatives to find out. In my family, it was sugar diabetes, and it was high blood pressure. So when you go to the doctor's office, they're going to ask who in your family got this, who in your family got that, anybody have cancer. And what they do is, if that's in your bloodline or DNA, then pretty much you have a chance of getting the same thing. Well, it's the same thing with while you're young. You probably, well, I'm young, so I'm not worried about it. I can eat anything I want to. And you feel that you're feeling good. But you got to think about all the diseases that's in the making in your body. Now, if you're eating the same foods that your mother or your father are the ones that's sick or had cancer, then you pretty much, if you have that DNA or that cell in your body, you're pretty much going to either get cancer, or you're going to get something, but it may not show up until you're 60 or 70. I know people with now high blood pressure in their 30s and 40s. The food is causing the more chemicals they put in food, the more things they shooting up in the meat, and putting on our food, um, is causing, whatever the things that you call it an old disease. Arthritis used to be called an old disease, but really it's not an old disease. I've been having arthritis. I was having arthritis since I remember 10 years old. But we didn't know what it was, because we ruled out that, because I was a young person. And you talk about arthritis, you're talking about things like that, you think about older people. Well, a lot of times you have it when you're young, but if you keep eating bad, it's just when you're older, you're not gonna be able to walk at all. The doctor gave me told me that I had rheumatoid arthritis, told me that I had cholesterol problems, told me that I had high blood pressure. And the first thing I thought about, and then they for the rheumatoid arthritis, they was giving me cancer pills. They were giving me, I was taking all kind of pills. I didn't take it long, because sometimes when the doctor tell you something, you do get scared. Like, well, Jesus, they should know what to give you, but they don't. They can give you a diagnosis, but the doctors, when they're in college, they don't have dietary classes. They don't have health classes they take. They don't know anything about health at all. Um, it's to the point where they get money for giving you pills, you know. And so I had to, wake up, and especially watching the video. If you can get a chance to watch the video, What the Health, you should watch it. You have to put your health in your own hands, because if I was continue taking those pills, I found out those pills when I got my physical. I think I went last week. My doctor's still thinking I'm taking pills. I'm not on pills at all right now, but I'm not telling him right now. I'm making him think that I'm better because of him right now. But on my workout, the paper that they gave me to take home, in the corner it says we have to watch her liver because she's taking toxin. I couldn't believe that. I'm trying to see if I can find it and print it out. And so when I do my next my FaceTime or my podcast, I'm going to start doing. it says in the corner of it, she's taking toxins. So we have to watch her liver and some other things they have to watch for, because they're putting in poison to try to get rid of rheumatoid arthritis, but it's causing something else to your heart and to your liver. It's causing other things to happen. And I never noticed that. As I told my husband, I said, do you see what I see? Is this what it's really saying? And people are not paying attention to what they put in their mouth, what they eating, uh, because, it's like salvation. What pleases our flesh, we're going to do it. What tastes good, we're going to eat it. And not really thinking about what it's doing to us. And in the long run, your kids suffer, you suffer. We having a thing where we chart our life. We chart, and you interview your mother, interview your father, interview some relatives in your family to find out what is in my DNA and what do I need to watch for. Pretty much, if your father or mother on crack, pretty much that crack curse, generational curse, is in your, the curse is in your DNA. I'll just say DNA. To talk about pretty much if your father, mother smoke, that's in your DNA. They call it a generational curse. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to your body. If your parents or anybody, if that's in your bloodline, it's pretty much, if you're eating the same thing they're eating, pretty much you're going to get it. My mother, I use my mother for example. She had high blood pressure, and the doctor gave her pills, and she wouldn't take the pills because she was believing God by faith that God was going to heal her. But the wisdom she didn't use is it's okay to take the medication until she got healed or until she changed her diet. Like I took the cancer pills, I took the pills the doctor gave me, but I didn't stay on them. I took it until I felt I was feeling better enough to get off the prescription pills, because I changed my diet, I changed the way I ate. I did something different because I do a lot of research. What I do is I have chat GPT, and done and whatever. I screenshot all my labs into GPT, and I'll tell them what I need to do, what's going on with my body. And then I give them prescriptions, and I say, what can I do naturally so I can get off the prescriptions? And GPT really can help you out. I mean, I put all my stuff in there. They explain all my lab work so I can understand it, because most of the time the doctor's not going to tell you. They explain, if I get off my blood pressure pills, what I can do instead. And I really been going by what chat, or even you can Google what chat been telling me. The most doctors don't know about plant-based and know about that you can heal yourself through eating right and change your diet. Because if you ask your doctor about, pretty much, thank God I do have a doctor that uh, would tell me, well, you can go on a plant-based diet if you do this, that I can not prescribe you this. I have this thing called, I don't eat meat, I don't eat oils, but I still have cholesterol problems. And I have this thing that they want to put me on cholesterol pills because in my DNA, I think my dad or mom had cholesterol. So it says you inherit that even if you're eating right. But the cure for that is you have to do resistance training and exercises and things like that. So it's things that we can do to change. We can't just live life without paying attention to our bodies. You can listen to what the diagnosis, what the doctor's telling you, but you have to do your own research and do your own diagnosis with the doctor, put it that way, and say, okay, if I don't want to take these, now you can just take the pills, and for the rest of your life you can do that, but your mortality of life will just be shortened. And people don't get that when you're eating wrong. We're tired. We retired, and we're 62, so we were in retirement age and things like that. Uh, they don't mind you retiring, if I'm saying it right. They don't mind you doing that. Is they know that there's this company that go buy your prescriptions and they can know how long you're going to live. A guy used to work with his company, and then his conscience got, whatever. Uh, it was eating them up. He said he can diagnose a person when they're going to die by their prescription, by how long they've been on their medication. But he said eventually he had to get out of there because the conscience kept bothering him. And so he said now he's helping people and saying, don't take these pills because it's taking 10 years off your life. Don't do this because it's doing this. And so he told us that uh, because of certain pills that people were taking, he said he got so good at diagnosing people's case of the time they was going to die. He said he was off about a few months, all because of what they were taking. He said he really wanted to tell them, if you stop this pill, you'll live longer. But because the money was looking good, he said he stayed in that in that career, in that job for years and years and years, to the point his conscience couldn't take it no more. So there's something set up for us. And there's a purpose why they put the stuff in our food. There's a purpose why they build more hospitals. There's a purpose why, if you notice, you see heart hospitals popping up. There's a hospital almost on every corner. They don't have enough hospitals for the people that's sick, you know. And they're trying to make, build more buildings just because they know the food is bad and they know that people are going to rely on them. The doctors are partnered with the prescription companies, and they're not trying to cure us. They're trying to kill us. And some of the doctors don't even know they're doing that because they don't get taught in medical school about health. And so I'm going to be getting on every Friday talking about health. And I decided just to pop on, real quick and just to say, wow, we need to really pay attention to our bodies. Our bodies are talking to us. And the way our body talks to us is by your sickness. When your head hurt, your body's saying something's wrong. When your stomach hurts, there's something's wrong. When you feel a mental fog, there's something's wrong. But what we do is we don't pay attention to our bodies, or we listen to the doctors with our prescriptions. Right now, I'm not on any pills right now. And I go back to my mom. I don't think I finished my mom. My mom was believing God by faith that she was going to be healed from high blood pressure, so she stopped taking her pills. She didn't wait for her healing first, or she didn't wait until she changed her diet, or she did any research about her high blood pressure. So she stopped taking her pills. What would happen, her pressure stayed 200 over, I don't know what the bottom numbers was, but they were high. For about 2 or 3 years, her pressure stayed above 200. I thought she was taking a medication because I went to her doctor appointments with her, and her doctors kept wondering why her pressure was so high. I don't know why they didn't put her in a hospital. Well, a few years later, I talked to my dad, and my dad said she stopped taking her pills, but he didn't tell us she stopped taking her pills. And she ended up getting dementia, if I'm saying that right. And because they said that when your pressure is high, stay a high number too high, it start doing something to the cells of your brain. And my dad noticed that because my mom played the piano, there's a lot of things my mom did. But my dad noticed that she didn't know how to play the piano anymore. So he really didn't pay attention to that. He was just chalking off that she was older. I think she was like 70, 72, I think, when she died. And he was just thinking, well, she just didn't want to play no more. And then he noticed that little small things that she couldn't drive, it's little things that she couldn't do anymore. And so, but he still didn't pay attention to that. Until one day, they woke up that morning, and my dad called me on the phone, and he said, your mom is not acting right. She's not doing right. So I said, what do you mean? So I put my mom on the phone, and she sounded normal to me. But when I went over there to her house, she had dementia. She thought we were still kids. She kept on hollering upstairs, y'all behave yourself. Y'all stop making all that noise. She went back in time, something like that. And so we asked what happened, and finally, after the doctors looked at her with a physical, gave her a physical, and he said that she has not been taking a high blood pressure pills because, and then my dad said why she was believing God for healing her, and the doctor said this is what word he used, just like an undercover suicide. He said she didn't have to die if she took her pills. So she didn't use wisdom with her faith. She didn't change her diet with her faith, and it caused her to lose her life. So when it comes to me, I inherit in the bloodline, the high blood pressure. So that was a scary thing for me, of getting off high blood pressure. I still take them every now, not because um, I really need it. If I can explain this right, that high blood pressure thing kind of got me a little nervous a little bit. That because if at one point my numbers are really, really high to the point of over 200. And I'm like, oh my God, same thing gonna happen to me. So that little part right there, I'm a little leery about right now. Right now, my numbers are very good. They 119 over something. They're doing really fine. But when you have a loved one die of not using wisdom, and we in a church, we're going to believe God for our healing. But no, you got to change your diet. You got to partner with God with your health. And if you're not going to change your diet, then you need to stay on your pills. However way it's going to cause your lack of what's that called, immortality, the length of it. If you're not changing, you got to do something. So I just want to get on and just talk about my burden for those who are just not eating right because of the taste of food that you want, because you want to life is the Bible talks about life is not about food and drink, you know, and even in the garden, he gave them fruit for their food, and it talks about even when the Israelites was in the wilderness, and it talked about God gave them manna. Manna was like a healthy food for all nutrition that they need, but they kept wanting meat, so God gave them meat to the point where God got mad. I think the scripture talks about. Uh, he made them eat so much meat it was coming out their mouth, it was coming out their nose, meaning that he was upset that they wanted something unhealthy versus the manner that they were getting, that was giving them health. It was giving them strength. It was giving them the 40 years that they were in the wilderness. Their clothes did not get old. No one was sick while they was in the wilderness, and I don't think they paid attention to that part. It's not about, everywhere we go, it's about, you know, when we fellowship, it's about food. I looked at a documentary. It talked about when you fellowship, and you want to meet your fellowship with somebody, ask them, let's go on a 10,000 or 5 mile walk. Let's do something healthy. Let's not always talk about food. So, with me and my husband are doing, we walk 10,000 steps a day, which they equal up 10,000, like 4.5 miles. And like yesterday, I did 5 miles. We do it every single day. I think the only day I don't do it is Sundays. And then I have a stationary bike that I get on every day because it helps your hips. It helps you. I'm 62 years old, and usually around 60 some years old, your bone mass starts to get weak, and some people get in their 60s, sometimes 70s, sometimes they fall, and sometimes, especially if you have arthritis, they have trouble walking and things like that. So when I'm doing my steps, I'm doing my bicycling, I'm doing my pound of greens and the chia seeds and my smoothie every day, uh, nutrition in my body, and probably my next um, when I do our podcast, I'll talk about what's in that drink that makes it so healthy. And so right now, I'm not in no pain. I'm not on no medication. There's exercise I got to do, lifting weights and resistant exercise in a day. You got to move your body. You ever heard people that when they retire, I mean, they're doing fine, but as soon as they retire, it's like their health starts going downhill. It's because when they retire, they sit down and don't do anything. And when you hear the word, I'm retiring, your body starts to act on what you're saying. And that does. And I started paying attention to stuff like that. And I started noticing people. I know we have a banker that's in Prague. And I noticed they was having a retirement party for him. But after he started retiring, get my words right, his health started going downhill. I mean, because you retire and you get in this chair and you sit down, you don't move, you don't walk, you don't put anything in place of what you were doing. You have to do something to keep your mind moving, your body moving. You can't just sit down. You have to keep, you know, I talk to so many people and tell them you got to keep your body moving and you need to eat right. I mean, it's not too late. I mean, you can be 62, 63, and you still, I know one lady changed her diet at 75, and because of some diagnosis the doctor gave her. But in the midst of changing her diet, there were other things that she didn't know was wrong with her, that she got cured just for changing her diet, just for exercising, just for, uh, enjoying life and not just sitting down, not doing anything. We are an obese country. When they shooting up these animals with all this stuff, and a lot of times they shoot the animals up just for the weight for the chicken. I mean, it's so many things that we can talk on that I'm going to just take one thing at a time and kind of break it down. I don't have my degree or anything in health. I supposed to be eventually taking a course in dietitian and kind of tweaking it a little bit, because sometimes the dietitian course don't tell you everything. And really, because I have a burden for people being healthy. When I see people on the street that has a lot of weight, I want to help everybody. And and then people think when you stop eating your meat and stop eating your food, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be depressed, but your palate will change. Your taste buds will totally change to the point where you your taste would you don't crave the stuff that you normally crave. Just give yourself time. And I'm gonna be doing classes, live classes. I'm gonna be doing recipes and things like that. And if you want to join me on the changing your diet, you will not be alone. Pastor Ray got so many QR codes on health, on salvation, all kind of things. Well, I have one on health where you can join, and we'll be talking about how to walk you through, where when you get 62, 72, and 82, and people look at those ages like, okay, this is where they start, deteriorating. This is the way the legs start hurting. This is the way they start, not walking. It doesn't have to be that way. Come on, you can be still alive and moving and still enjoying life and having fun. A lot of people, when they retire, they have these goals that they're going to travel. You're 30 years old, you think about retiring. But a lot of people that get around 62, 63, or even older, uh, their traveling days are messed up because either one of them has to be the caretaker of the other. I got this guy that comes and, he sprays the church. And, I was talking about how we travel and what we doing. And he said, well, it's sad that this is my life. I can't travel because I'm a caretaker of my wife. He said his wife is real sick. So all his dreams about getting old and retiring and traveling is really gone because he has to take care of his wife. He's been a caretaker. So I told my husband one day, I almost threatened him to eat right. But I told him, and I let him watch that video of that woman trying to get her husband to eat right. And the husband looked like he was like, God, 90 years old. They're the same age. And she's 20. I said, that ain't going to happen to us. I love you and everything, but we are going to be healthy. We're going to be healthy at 70s. We're going to be healthy in our 80s. We're going to be healthy in our 90s. We're going to live as long as possible. If you notice, China, they're riding a bike. They're riding bikes at age 90 and 100 years old. And it's because of the way they're eating. You know, the China. When it comes to America and they don't go to the Western diet. The ones here that's not in China no more. They didn't copied our. They're eating just like we're eating. Western diet is a bad diet. But and then they're making plant-based food like what's that meat called? I can't think of the name of the meat. Impossible burgers, and they're making stuff like that. Do you know that they're making that meat in a lab? That meat is worse than real meat. So it's so much that we're gonna talk about, and I kind of went over a lot of things today because of the burden I'm carrying. I want everybody to get salvation, be saved. I want everybody to be healthy, and I want everybody to live the life they're supposed to live. Uh, I'm here. You can message me those going to watch this later, you can message me, and if you want me to help you to change your diet, even your children, uh, now I know this one lady, her baby is like 7 months old and got full blown cancer, stage 4. We know one baby has is a diabetic. I mean, things are starting early. It used to be later on in life, but things are starting early. It ain't waiting for you to get old. So it is sad because that baby didn't have to have cancer. That baby, that those young 7-year old, 8 years old, one has lupus. That they just got so many documentaries talking about how people are getting sick earlier, and the reason why the food is getting worse. I mean, you can't even trust really organic food in stores anymore. You can't trust stuff. And that's why they're telling people to grow your own food, grow your own garden, and it's a lot. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a podcast. Maybe some days with my husband, some days by myself. I'm gonna bring in other guests that's on plant-based diet, and we're just gonna really talk about exercise and talk about things you can do. And if you feel you can't do it, you have support. You do have support, because me and my husband did this with trial and error. I mean, we didn't have support. We did it by ourselves. And most, and I'm not knocking what anybody do, but I'm going to tell it. I'm going to be honest, because this program going to be honest and to the point. Most people say, well, I don't eat beef, but I eat chicken. I don't eat chicken, but I do this. I don't know that. Listen, there's no meat, no beef, no one, no worse than the other. If you eat one of them, you still eating it. It's bad. Because you're eating chicken, don't mean you're doing better because you're not eating meat. Uh, Fish is just as bad because of the mercury. So if you're eating one, some people think, well, I'm healthier because I'm not doing this. No, all of it is bad equally. Because you're not eating beef, because you're not doing this and not doing that, you're still doing it. And you're pretty much, and what me and my husband did is we went cold. I'm a good coach. I'm a very disciplined person. When I hear something's gonna hurt me, I can immediately stop. I'm one of those people that can just go cold turkey on things, because if I know it's gonna hurt me, I have no problem stopping. Some people say, well, I stop this, I stop this. The easy way to do is go cold turkey and get a support system and get some help. There's no easy way. But the quicker you just go cold turkey and change your diet. When we first changed our diet, we went on a 9-day fast. It was 9 days. Supposed to be I think it's supposed to be 11. And we did that called lemon. What's called? It's called lemon something detox. I think it was lemon detox. And where you get the lemon and honey, and you put in your water, and then you drink about 12 glasses a day of that. I think we did about 8 glasses a day, something like that. And we did that for 9 days with no food. We just detoxed our body, and we went to eating right. That's how we started ours. It just cleansing our body out, and then we went straight to plant-based. I think we're vegan first. But do you know vegan is really about not killing the animals. Vegan is really not about health. It's about, I'm not eating meat because I'm not killing the animals. I can't kill a fly. I can't wear leather. I can't do honey because it comes from a bee. That's vegan. And Oreo cookies are vegan. There's a lot of stuff that's vegan. A vegan is a person who they don't eat dairy because of the animal. They don't eat meat because of anything I do with animals, they don't eat. But if it's an Oreo cookie or some kind of cookies that don't have dairy or potato chips, the oils in it, all that. So you can be a vegan. You can be an overweight vegan. Vegan is not healthy. It's really not. Vegan is not, because you're not eating. It's more than not eating meat. It's more than not eating dairy. It's the sugar. It's everything with it. I've seen obese vegans. You know, So it's about the sugars, about the exercise, about the working out. And that plant-based diet is you eating no meat, no oils, no sweets, no sugars. I mean, you're really eating really clean food. And I'm going to teach you how we still have spaghetti. I make my own sauce. I make my own meatballs from scratch, doing tofu or using soy curls and things like that. And my spaghetti will taste just like your spaghetti, macaroni and cheese. My homemade cheese made from scratch will taste just like your cheese. If I made it, you would never know the difference. I've learned how to make chicken from scratch. It will taste like your chicken. Mushrooms, you can make them taste like steak. I mean, there's so many things you can do to take the place of it. But because we're in this fast food world, and we don't want to stay home and cook. Old school, they cooked all their meals. They didn't go out to eat. We don't want to stay home and cook, and that's why we're in a unhealthy environment. And so we're gonna get. I'm gonna get on probably once a week, everything I talked about today, I'm going to take a little bit of time and explain why you should change your diet, why you should eat right, why what this world is coming to. The food is getting worse, y'all. I can really talk about it, but we'll talk a little bit at a time. But food is getting worse. Why are they building more hospitals? You got to think about this stuff. Why are they building more heart clinics? Why are they building more? I mean, if we really pay attention, I think sometimes we're not paying attention. I think that's one of those demonic forces and the demonic, what do you call it, in high places, the principalities in high places. I didn't really understand totally what that scripture meant. Now I understand it now. I call these people in their white coats, they're running the world. We was young. They had the 5 food groups. They had the vegetables and the meat. That was all a lie. It was for everybody to buy all this food. It wasn't about your health. You got to have your dairy. You got to have the meat. You got to have the vegetable. Some days all we eat is macaroni and cheese on a plate. Some days we'll just eat a thing of spinach. Some days we'll just, I'll make some. You can make deli meat out of tofu. Some days we have deli sandwiches, and the tofu deli meat tastes. I don't have to have all 5 courses, whatever courses on one plate. You have meat in the corner. Then you have your vegetables. Then you got to make sure you have this and your starch, and you make sure you have a salad on the side, and then you do all this stuff, and then we have like 3 or 4 pieces of chicken on the plate. It's things like that. All that was a lie to make money. And if you're unhealthy, prescription medicine is in the, oh my God, I don't know how much money they're making off prescriptions, in the billions, I know. And so prescriptions, they partner with the hospital. If your blood pressure, you found out if your blood pressure is like 140, 130 in your 60s, that's pretty much not bad. You get older, your vital signs or your pressure will go up a little. You can't expect for an older person, 62, and the pressure being 120. I mean, so we found out that that's all wrong, and they tell the doctors your pressure past this point, give them high blood pressure pills. The industry is making money off of us. So I know I kind of have given you a lot, but I just want us to open our eyes and not, you don't close your eyes to your car. You're going to make sure your car runs good. You're going to do whatever it takes. You give your car oil change. And you make sure you buy the most expensive oil there is. Because you want your car to run. You spend money on to make your car whatever it does, but you won't spend money on yourself. Well, I can't afford this. I can't afford to eat healthy. Well, Jesus Christ, if you add up your grocery list, it's going to be just as meat is high. I went to the store. I haven't had meat in years, but I went to the store. I'm like, oh my God. I really think eating right, organic food is cheaper. I do. When you go to your grocery list of the meat you have to buy and the stuff you have to buy, sometimes I'm thinking that it either balance out or it's cheaper. So let's not be, the Bible talks about being ignorant of the devil's devices and his schemes. And you can shout around the church, you can do all this stuff, but you are unhealthy. The Bible says he wish of all we prosper, be in health, even as our soul prosper. So he wanted us to be healthy. I can't think of that guy's name when that scripture came up. I can't think of the name right now. I'm lost who his name is, but his mentor, I just use this, his mentor in the Bible, he was saying that he was spiritually doing well. But he said, you're doing well with your spirit, but you're not doing well with your health. He said, I wish above all you prosper, being in health, even as your soul prosper. That's what that scripture came from. He was saying he was doing all the church stuff. He was doing all that he's supposed to do. But then he was neglecting this. You can't neglect your health. You can't neglect your soul. And you just can't neglect, oh my God, your prosperity, your being good stewards of your money. So he's letting them know you got to have all of them. I want you to even all that out. And so that's what the scripture was talking about. So I am getting ready to get off, and I'm gonna set up my podcast. My husband, Pastor Ray, gonna help me set up my podcast, and we're gonna talk about health. I'm 62 years now, and I'm doing great. 5 miles a day. Um, I'm doing resistance training. I'm going to beef that up a little bit more, and I'm doing things for we're doing things for us. You know, we want to live long to see our kids grow up, and we can convince half of our kids. We have 6 children, and we convince pretty much all of them are on plant-based. They give and take. I got one son that's not. We haven't got him yet, my younger son, but pretty much all the rest of 5, they know about plant-based. Every time, when they fall, we all get on, talk about it. Come on, get back up. We can do it because we're doing it for our health, getting our grandkids, just getting everybody to eat right. That's a struggle, but it's a burden that I'm carrying and that I want to help people. And I told God, I don't mind carrying this burden. We're not supposed to be sick, especially as Christians, you know, and we got to be smart. That's the word I use. We got to be smart. When you pray in your prayer room and you getting the word down, then you listen to what God's telling you about your health, because it ain't good. It's not good. Anyway, I'll get off because I got things to do. But I just want to get on to let you know that I've been telling people that I'm going to do some cooking classes, and I am. I'm going to be doing some what do you call it? I ain't gonna say sip and taste. Well, I guess I could call it sip and taste. And there gonna be no wine and like that, but you'll get to taste that we have cookies, we have cakes, but it's not using sugar and it's still sweet, you know. So you'll be able to see the things we use. And if I was to cook a whole dinner for you for a whole week and did not tell you that it is plant-based, you would never know it. You would think you eating chicken, you would think you eating. So it's almost like we replaced it. It's like we replace what was bad and we eating the good stuff. And we can eat it unlimitedly, without gaining weight. I'm at the weight I'm supposed to be at. I'm 6 foot tall, and I'm at the weight I'm supposed to be. I really have to fight to hold on to my weight, because I could easily, I'm not a person. It was easy for me too, because what they call a foodie person that eats a lot, or just eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then they have a snacks at night. I'm not a person. I pretty much don't eat all day. I eat a dinner, and I may eat some of my snacks, the little healthy snacks that I eat at night. But I'm not a person that just eat all day. I eat pretty much one meal a day, and if I do eat something, I might grab a banana or something. But I pretty much just do dinner, and my smoothie. That's pretty much sometimes that 80-ounce smoothie. There's times I do 40 ounces, but the 80-ounce smoothie pretty much. I used to get up at 6:30 and drink the 40-ounce like all at once, and then I go back to bed and I'll get up and drink the other 40-ounce for the rest of the day. And so I get it down in my system, and so I'm just on just to encourage you that life is good. We on our vacations, we on a cruise, whatever we do, we go get the healthy stuff, and people say, is that temptation? When you find out how much food is harming you, it really is not you really don't want to. It's not enticing because we know it's in it. When you know something's going to harm you, you're not going to eat it. And when you get educated on it, even though you still would love, I mean, I love fish, I love chicken, I love all that. But my knowing what's in it is overpowering what I love. So, and I'll just go to my health foods. And I'm praying that one day um, cruises, will have more healthy. They do have salad and things like that, but they'll have more tofu, soy curls, dinners where you can have your own side of plant-based food where you don't have to worry about trying to figure it out. Because when we go on cruises, we have to piece our meals together. We have to like, this is healthy. Okay, this got oil in it. But you know, more restaurants are changing the way they do food because they're finding out people are starting to eat healthy now. A lot of these burger places are doing a plant-based foods because they found out people are changing their diet. If their money, they're not making much money it was on meat as it used to because people are wising up. That's what it is. And so now they have to do something to change. But what I don't like is people who don't understand plant-based is trying to make plant-based food. If I said that right. And there are some, but really Oklahoma don't have, uh, you can go to what's Chipotle. Now, the only thing that I have a problem with Chipotle is Chipotle food has oil all in it. You can't when you have arthritis, deal with arthritis. When heat hits oil, it causes a toxin that goes into your body. That's what people don't understand about oils. And so Chipotle, and sometimes we go to Loading Bowl, and I have to really be careful with Loading Bowl because they have soy curls in their food. That's the meat they use. And I don't tell y'all soy curls is good. It tastes just like chicken. You can make it taste anything you want to, like sloppy joes and things like that. But the only thing about Loading Bowl, they fry their soy curls, but everything else is pretty good. But so I have to, you have to be careful. But I would love to go to a place that is a plant-based, 100%, and you can go there, relax, order anything on the menu, and it's something that we can eat. California has a whole bunch of restaurants like that, but for some reason Oklahoma is a little slow when it comes to food like that. And but we'll talk about things you can do, and when you do go to a restaurant, you can still go to places with your friends. You just don't order what they order. And so we're going to talk about all that stuff. But all the stuff I'm talking about today, we're going to just break it down, and kind of talk about one thing at a time so you can have a understanding on how you can change your diet. I don't believe in processes. I do not believe in processes when it comes to that because it's very hard to just um, it's hard to do it without going cold turkey, but I will help you, and we'll just talk about some things. And anytime you have any questions, just you can put it on this site here. You can inbox me or whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna talk about something about it every Friday. Those that are watching, gonna watch it later on. That's watch it later. Um, you know, if you watch it later, just say I'm watching a replay. All right, I love everyone. And Shelly, I see you was on. I don't know if y'all still on China, and Destiny, I saw that you were on. But I will be back on. I will help you. We will. I'm going to start some classes to help people because some people have been pulling on me to do classes to help, and I will do that. We will have a plant-based taste class where we would taste the chicken I made. You would taste the cookies and some of the cakes and pies I make, and you would taste the macaroni and cheese. You will taste the food that we eat, and after you get through tasting, because sometimes uh, you got to show people what you do, because most folks think we just eating salads all day, but we're really not. So we'll let you know and give you dates on when we're gonna do all those things. But I love everybody, and thank you for listening. And I just pray to God that this will help you to change your situation, your mind, and your health. All right, I'm getting off, and I will be back on next Friday. All right, bye bye.